He's Pat Haden, USC Athletic Director, firing Lane Kiffin after the blowout loss over the weekend. And Pat joins us now. Pat, how are you this morning?
I'm fine, Dan, and you?
I'm good. I had a pretty good weekend, but take me to Saturday night. Can we go through the process here of when you came to the decision where you were going to find Lane Kiffin?
Well, it wasn't just Saturday night. Saturday night was a tough night, particularly defensively, which we've been playing very good defense the first part of the season. But it was really kind of the start of the year, the inconsistency I think we had in these first 5 games, Dan. I think it's fair for people to say, what do you know now that you didn't know at the end of last year when we asked Lane and his staff to come back. And I think there was an expectation and a hope that we would get this thing turned around. And remember that Lane, the year before, had led our team to 10 wins. And we thought last year was an aberration. And we were trying to preserve a pretty good recruiting class a year ago, although small. And so we expected this turnaround. We did some good things first 5 years, but not 5 weeks, but not enough. And there's no great time to make a change in college football, unlike professional football where you have natural windows to make changes. No great time. And, and also I think Lane, in a lot of ways, he's a misunderstood guy, did a lot of good things for USC. I have a great deal of respect for Lane personally and professionally. Very, very misunderstood guy. But I just thought this was the right time with as much a gut feeling as just about anything else, Dan.
When did you make the decision during the Arizona State game?
Toward the end of the game, I talked to our president. Coming back, we boarded a plane about 1 o'clock in the morning. Told Lane I'd just like to see him after we landed. Spoke with Lane about 3 o'clock in the morning for nearly an hour. Lane was, as you might expect, kind of battled me hard, really wanted to retain the job. I respect him for that. I can see why he's such a great recruiter. And then at about 4 o'clock in the morning, we notified our team by text. I met with Ed Ogeron, who's our interim head coach, in the morning. Our coaching staff at about 10, our team at about 11. Both of whom actually took it pretty well. I mean, actually, the team took it great. These are young kids, but pretty resilient. And, we have a bye week now, and there's another reason the timing was, I said never good timing, but we have a bye week this week.
But you stood behind him. You were pretty adamant you were very adamant. You were sticking behind him. You knew that it was a tough end of last season. The bowl game was not good. What made you, believe that there was, maybe sunshine on the horizon here?
Well, Dan, again, giving Lane credit, this was a very difficult sanction that the NCAA handed down. They don't want you to win when they take away 30 scholarships. And if you look what happened in Michigan State in the 90s when they lost 20 scholarships, and Alabama in the mid-90s when they lost 20 scholarships, they were roughly 500 teams. Okay, Alabama a little bit better than 500, but Michigan State, I think Nick Saban was there, about a 500 team. And I think had Lane known what the sanctions were going to get, were handed down, he may not even have taken the job. But he really and the other thing is we have 21 coaches. And, Dan, if you aren't going to support them 100%, if you've already made the decision, then you shouldn't have those coaches. So we always say we support our coaches 100% until they're not our coaches. And that's why I felt I do respect Lane, and I felt he deserved my 100% support, and he got it. And I think for the last 3.5 years, I've put my heart and soul behind him as I do every one of our programs and coaches in the hopes that they'll do all things right, including winning.
Talking to Pat Haden, USC Athletic Director, joining us, Dan Patrick Show. Could any coach have made this better, given the situation and the penalties that were there with USC?
Boy, Dan, I don't know. It's brutal out there. I mean, we had a guy, a receiver, nice young man, a walk-on, but played most of the second half Saturday night. And last year he was an intern in our sports information office. We had, one scholarship receiver playing on the game Saturday night. The sanctions are the sanctions, and the good news is we've got one more year of those. We're getting to the other side of those. We do have 19 scholarships available for next year, which is a good thing. But you asked a very good question, and I think Lane would say it would be difficult for anybody. Vince Lombardi would have had a hard time getting himself through this. But that was the intent of the NCAA and the penalty. And then, basically they've got what they wanted.
But you went to the NCAA last week, and it was reported you talked to them after we saw what Penn State got, sort of a to-do list, and we'll give you some scholarships back. What did the NCAA say to you, and why was it different with USC?
Well, it was a long shot, and yeah, it's really apples and oranges. We went through a traditional, hearing process in front of the Committee of Infractions, is what it's called. The D1 board and the president of the NCAA went down a very unusual path in the Penn State case. We recognize that, but some of the rationale was that they had received some relief because of their post-sanction behavior. We think we've been model citizens in that regard since our sanctions came down in 2010. Really done just about everything well and been told that. But it was a long shot. We realized that when we went back.
Coaching search underway now?
Not really. I mean, we always think every one of our sports administrators who handle sports, we have 21 of them. Part of their job is to say your coach gets hit by a bus, leaves, whatever, who are the natural candidates to succeed them. So, we've talked about this for 3 years, in all our sports, including this one. But, we've got plenty of time to do that. And I just want to be respectful of our current team, Dan. I don't want to be talking about a search when we still have 8 games to go. Really a lot to play for. And, a senior class deserves our full attention and support.
How important is it to have somebody who is a USC guy?
Not important.
How important is it to have somebody who has prior head coaching experience in college football?
I think it's important.
What about pro football experience?
I don't know if these things. I don't have the actual check the box list. It could be an unusual candidate. Could be a very traditional candidate. We really haven't gotten there. And Dan, as I said, I really do want to be respectful of our team, our current team.
Is the brand damaged, Pat?
We'll get it done. We'll ultimately get it done, and we'll ultimately find a really great coach because we have a great program and deserving of a terrific coaching staff.
Is the brand damaged?
If you can consider, what we've gone through with sanctions and NCAA penalties, you never want that scarlet letter on your institution because, I've talked about it before. While athletics is just a small part of the overall budget of a university, there's a lot of reputational risk in sports and athletics. And so that's always my biggest fear since I've been doing this is that, we want to be as good as the rest of the university. And the rest of our university is pretty doggone good. And it's not just winning, but, that is an important part of it as well. So we're very cognizant of the fact that a lot of people look at USC for the first time through the lens of the athletic department. So we want to win. We want to win with integrity. We want to win the right way. And we want to win championships. It's in our DNA. And we will again. But we're still, working our way through some challenging times with sanctions.
Before I let you go, how would you describe Lane Kiffin's status going into the Arizona State game?
We were very supportive of Lane, and we expected to win the game, get onto a break, and move on to our next game.
So there was you weren't thinking if this doesn't go well, he could get fired. It just came to you in the third quarter when you guys they go on a 24-0 run, I believe, and then all of a sudden you say,
"No, I don't think that. Yeah, I don't think that's fair. I think it's kind of a look at what's happened in the first 5 weeks, Dan.
Okay.
Wasn't winning one player, one quarter, or one moment.
Well, we appreciate you joining us, and good luck with the job search. Thank you, Pat.
Thank you, Dan. Appreciate it. Bye-bye.
Pat Haden, USC Athletic Director.
The Dan Patrick Show, weekday mornings on Audience.